welcome to the Charmed Life podcast. This podcast is all about magic, metaphysics, mysticism, higher consciousness, and the unconditional love of the universe. And I am your host here. My name is Tricia Carr. Well, first of all, I want to tell you that this is a really rad conversation episode that I have. And second of all, I want to just make an invitation to anyone who may be newer to this podcast to check out my website, and you can find it in the link in the description, or it's actually Tricia Carr Charm, TRICIACARRCHARM. Now, what I have there on my website are the ways that you could work with me. I am a channel, I am a hypnotherapist, and I am a healer. So I have my one-on-one sessions, which I have started to call like this year as I shifted into a new paradigm, a really exciting and uplifted way that I've been doing this work for, I think, about 7 years now, but I shift, as we do, we shift and we change. And so the sessions that I'm doing predominantly are what I call empathic channeling and hypnohealing. So these are full, robust sessions where there is channeling. I channel your higher self. I channel from your guides, whoever puts you in contact with your spirit guide lineage, such as the archangelic realm or the interdimensional ET realm, star beings, or anything that we are there to work on, honestly. I mean, whoever is available to you in your spirit team will arrive. And of course, we also, some of that, I usually do a little hypnohealing, which is a combination of doing healing in a hypnotic state, because that is the really powerful way to shift and change by actually getting in there and replacing the energy. And it is a wonderful and exciting experience. So I wanted to invite you to that. And also I do animal telepathy, animal communication. So that's all there on my services page. And you may have heard me talking lately about the modern mystic life coaching. This is my very affordable and very high quality. It's sort of a daily or at least semi-daily coaching, meaning that I'm sending you right there in your SMS text messenger, I'm sending you multimedia content that is to help you to attune your vibration, to help you to be in the contemplation state, I should say, of what is higher vibrating for you. And so there are meditations, there are videos, there are audio messages, energy updates. As I record this now, yesterday, I sent out one that was attuning us to the moon phase that we are in, the waning crescent, which is one that is maybe not talked about as much, but it is a very powerful lunar energy to harness and work with. And at any rate, I want to invite you to that. It's just $11 a month, and you can join by checking that description. You'll find it on my website as well, and it is amazing. So that's what I have for you, my invitations. And now I want to move into my guest for this episode. Her name is Daniela Sulek, and she sees through the illusion of rigid physical reality and ridicule of human conditioning. Daniela's thirst for truth naturally brought her on a journey of experiencing the self beyond the mind, beyond the body, and beyond physical reality. Daniela has brought a leading-edge concept of applied neurophysiology, energy medicine, quantum physics, metaphysics, and higher logic into her daily life, creating massive physical, mental, and emotional shifts for herself and her clients. So Daniela serves as a mentor and a coach, and wow, we get into it. So I do hope you will enjoy our conversation, and I will chat with you on the other side. Here is Daniela Sulek. Well, Daniela, welcome to the Charmed Life podcast. I'm really excited to connect. I feel like, as you said before we even got on, and what I felt when I read about you, like we have so much resonance between one another, so much in common, so much that we're passionate about, and the way that, and I'm just really interested to hear some of the details of how you are of service and the just the light that you shine and how it comes from, the way you articulate it. So welcome. And would you like to tell everyone about the work you're doing or your journey, how you got to be in this position of being a mentor and a support to others?
Thank you. Thank you, Tricia. So I'm really happy to be here. And yes, I think we will have amazing discussion. And I hope for everyone to hear what they need to hear. And so what I do is I help burnout leaders, entrepreneurs, executives, high performing coaches to shift into permanent state of higher consciousness. So activate and permanent a state of higher consciousness. So they move into the life of ease, joy, and fun. And this is a permanent state. So what they do is they shift from creating by doing to creating by being.
Mm.
And they have a lot of free time and they can simply enjoy life, but also build their wealth, meaning to spread their message, to be of service, and to really make massive impact.
Wow.
And so how did I get here into what I do? Very interesting. So I was in my old life, this lifetime, but old life, I was a high achiever myself.
Mm-hmm.
I work with a lot of high achievers now. So I was a high achiever and I did what I call humaning. Do, go, go,
Mm-hmm.
go, 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 never enough, and always busy, 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 and a lot of thoughts. And it didn't work for me. I was sick, I was stressed, I was anxious. So I kind of wanted to shift things and change things. And I started to going more in rather than out. And then throughout the years, things really escalated and accelerated for me when I really just wanted to know who I was, because I had the knowing that this is not the life we are meant to live here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like there's no way we came here to hustle. Like, it didn't make sense for me. It didn't, even though I was so tight in the logic and logical and analytical mind, it didn't make sense. And sure enough, I had a many, what you can call spiritual experiences,
Mm-hmm.
out of body experience, astral travel, a lot of others. And slowly, piece by piece, I was building this puzzle of, okay, this is how things happen. This is why we are the way we are. This is how we can shift easily. And so it's literally like I was given. It was no achievement, even though it requires a lot of willpower and discipline to shut off the logic, shut off the analytical mind, shut off the reality,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of trust. I was really given always the next step, next step,
Yeah.
next step. And that's how I got where I am today. And now I help those who are ready, who is ready. Those who
Yeah.
is ready to shift, they will do.
One thing that is a sort of mantra that I have to I have to constantly apply on myself. It's something that one of my spirit guides told me one time, and it said, "It doesn't matter what you do; it matters who you are when you're doing anything."
Yeah.
And it's like that being and overdoing,
Yeah.
overdoing, and that's something else I teach too. So yeah, we're getting that same universal wisdom similarly.
Yes. Yes, and that's exactly it. And where we got it wrong as humans, we think that we get the result. Okay, we get the result we want with action.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true.
Right.
We get the result, but not the result we want with action, because 99% of our daily action, because of the conditioning we are in, comes from the mind, from the conditioned mind. So 99% of the action is fear-based.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Yeah.
have fun. We
Yeah.
don't have fun. We don't enjoy things. We don't do things easy. We don't do things just because we want to. We do things because we need to,
Mm-hmm.
whether at home or at work. So that there tells us that it's a fear-based, and we are decreasing our frequency,
Mm-hmm.
and we are decreasing our vibration. So we will get, again, low frequency reality around us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we got stuck as humans for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And if you really shift into if you really get it, if you really realize that, okay, it doesn't matter what I do. And this is it's mind blowing for the mind. It doesn't matter what you do. It
Yeah.
does not matter what you do, as long as you take it from the right state. of being.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot of unlearning to
Mm-hmm.
get there, because it takes
Yeah.
it's like every minute of our life we function in a certain state, and that takes to change, right?
So I want to know, like, I love that it takes unlearning and in a way it takes remembering. It's not even really, unlearning, or it's not learning, it is unlearning, and it's not learning, it's remembering, or just remantling to yourself. So what are some of the specific tools, technologies, modalities, ways that you actually help people? Is it coaching, or do you use, obviously, you give them tools to be able to do this unlearning on their own as well? I would love to know how you actually
Yes.
service people.
Yes. So I go right into the consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
We go right into beyond the mind. So you can do this many ways. You can kind of remove the childhood traumas and wounds and all the stuff, and clearing energy and chakra. But we have to remember, and this is one thing that when I got it, I was like, okay, this is huge, because that's all mind stuff.
Yeah.
So when we shift into this, we can call it spiritual life, and we move from the doing and going into like, okay, I think I know who I am, and I think this is what I need to do. I need to raise my vibration, and I need to do all this stuff. The mind creates this trap for us that, yeah, you need to do that. You need to do. Mind does, right? Mind takes control. It's like you need to do. You're not enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
the mind
and
starts to hijack the spiritual knowledge. It starts to
yes,
say, "Oh, okay, so that's how you're going to obey me. Then that's
yes,
mine now,
yes.
and
And
I'm
there
going to
is,
use it to make you do the same stuff."
yes, instead of just kind of like working on a papers at work, or
Mhm.
do stuff, now we are doing this chakra clearing and
Now I'm a
meditation and
spiritual achiever.
spiritual achiever, and because I need to achieve enlightenment and all that stuff. And unfortunately, there is a lot of this out there.
Mhm.
So many time my clients are high performing coaches, and they are healers, they are coaches, and they
Yes.
worked on themselves for 10 or 15 years,
Yeah.
and they're like, I'm exhausted. And I'm like, yeah, I know you are, because it's still the mind.
Mhm.
So what I do is I go beyond the mind. When we eliminate the mind, um, there is no belief system. We go right into the consciousness, and we go right into being.
Mhm.
And then it's really the exercises, it's really the awareness of being in that state all the time. And once we do that, once we detach from the mind, the natural mechanism that has been built into us and into the life or existence will kick in, and the consciousness will shift itself, because the mind keeps the consciousness in the lower states, in the fear-based states.
Yeah.
That's why I call it mind conditioning, right? So when there is no mind, we are naturally in our natural state. And a lot of time this shift is instant, like 1-2 days. It
Mhm.
depends who it is, who I work with.
Yeah.
But I've seen, like, people were ready. Sometimes people are ready. So it's really it starts with detaching from the mind completely. So
Mhm.
knowing your mind, being aware of the mind and the body, because it goes, emotions are also the body. And that's the process.
And you do it. I mean, it's definitely some form of hypnosis. Hypnosis is a huge Well, the reason I say that is hypnosis is a huge category. When we go past the mind, we go into the subconscious. Then we are working in a suspended state, is really what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that you're using hypnotic techniques in the
Yeah, no, I
classic
don't
sense,
know.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's one way. I don't do hypnosis. I never
Mhm.
done. I don't even know how to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm not
What
suggesting that.
what I do is I teach people consciously how to do it during the day. So
Mhm.
they
Yeah,
function, but they are aware of their state, and
yeah.
they are aware actually of the two different states: me being as a mind
Mhm.
and conditioned human, and me being as a consciousness. And
Mhm.
that awareness itself creates the shift.
Yeah.
So yeah, I work with them on a kind of during our coaching, but most of the work is done by the client themselves.
Yes, it has to be, right? I mean, of course, I mean, in a way, really all of the work is done. A
Yeah,
coach, a guide, a healer is
yeah,
just holding the space and belief
yes,
and, vision,
yes,
I guess you might say, just knowing that
yes,
there can be shift, but
yeah.
obviously we
But
have free will, so we could say no to all of it.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
But even to
Even
the point,
inside
to
of you.
your point, when you mention the subconscious, even there is a little trap, because the subconscious is filled with the beliefs, and we
True.
are changing the beliefs.
Mhm.
Um, when we eliminate the subconscious completely, so the mind conditioning, there are no beliefs. There is just pure being,
Mhm.
and we can choose our beliefs from the pureness of our being, or we can choose having not no beliefs.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because then we function as humans, but it's not a human life. It's not. It's like you can change weather, you can change rules,
Mhm.
you can literally change physical reality on
Yeah.
your own.
Yeah, it's being a magician. I think that's the natural state. Exactly.
But
That's
that's
how
our natural state.
that's essentially what are called ascended masters. I think that's what they
Yeah.
did. They got to that. Like Saint Germain, for example, is a historical um, character person who actually verified, walked, and lived this earth. But he was said to be a magician, and just basically, and also that he's legendarily he lived like well beyond the typical human lifespan, and none of that is like factual or documented by history necessarily, except for by accounts of people who say that they saw him at 300 years old or something, but he looked like he was 30. But the point is that there are a lot of accounts of him just shifting reality, and of course Jesus as well, and other masters. So, and I'm sure you have, and I have experienced that where I somehow was able to release something, and then the reality just went blip.
Yes.
Here you are. It changed, and
Yes.
I'm getting chills because it's
And
amazing.
and that's, and you said one important thing, that's our natural state.
It is,
And
yeah.
so this is my message to everyone. This is why I do what I do. Whether someone shifts this lifetime or not, that's beyond my control.
Mhm,
But really, I'm here to tell people that the state you are living every day is is our normalized state, is 1,000 years of conditioning. Our natural state is joy and life, love,
mhm,
and it's ease.
mhm,
We as humanity could function without working, could function just having joy of creating. Obviously, we would not be meditating on a sofa 24/7, but having fun, creating, using our gifts to create, but not as work, not exchange of money. We are self-sufficient energetic beings. We can do that.
mhm,
So those ascended masters and other people who lived in history, like Buddha,
mhm,
for example, Buddha,
mhm,
it's the same example. It's possible, but it's not like out there, and it's something we need to work hard on or achieve. It's
mhm,
our natural state. All we have to do, what you mentioned at the beginning, is unlearning. We need to drop the conditioning. We need to unlearn who we were thought to be.
And now for these messages. Creation of the outside world really does start inside. You can feel better and receive more. Miraculous shifts happen when you align your inner world with your higher self and your soul blueprint. My clients report immediate and long lasting results of the inner and outer world. I channel guidance and energy transmissions from your higher self and spirit team. As you resonate with the transmission, change occurs. In sessions and coaching, mentoring, I use my abilities of empathic channeling, hypnohealing, quantum resonance healing, as well as spiritual counseling, neurolinguistic programming, and so much more. Check out my calendar for my session work and my coaching and mentoring. I would love to work in your beautiful energy. Lightshine Academy presents the 2022 Channeling Intensive. Open your divine channel to higher consciousness, cosmic intelligences, and source energy. This program begins the week of May 9th, 2022. This is an innovative and groundbreaking intensive designed specifically to connect you to spirit so you can draw down potent, useful, and transformative energy. The education you will receive will equip you to have dynamic and evidential encounters in the world of spirit. The experiences you will have will put you up close and personal with your own divine channeling team. We will meet live and online for education and coaching over the course of this 8-week program. Expect your life to change drastically as new information, energy, revelations, and love pours into you, through you, by the way of spiritual channeling. Crystal Ann Compton, and I invite you to check it out at class.lightshineacademy.com/2022CI. This intensive is not to be missed. We hope to see you in the 2022 Channeling Intensive. Hello, my friend. It's Tricia Carr. I'm here to invite you to my coaching and mentoring portal, Modern Mystic Life. This high-value, easy access portal is like having a spiritual mentor right in your pocket. You'll receive all the inspiration right there in your text messenger, and you can also access it on your desktop. I will be delivering the tools and technology that are proven to evolve your abundant life inside and out. You will receive daily inspiration, education, and practices to help you evolve your life as a mystic and a human spiritual being. Plus, you will have access to my monthly workshops in which I teach and channel cutting-edge spiritual content, and also will give guidance, intuitive readings, and attunements right there in our group setting. I worked with Spirit to co-create and manifest the best way to support you and in the easiest fashion, and here it is. I'm very excited to co-create with you too. So, welcome, my friend, to your modern mystic life. And now back to the show. And of course, the mind gets its hackles up, gets all defensive, and has all kinds of anecdotes to prove that that's not true, that we don't have to work. There are, this happened to me, or I've seen this happen to someone else. And so I guess when that happens, we just know that it's hard, that we're not ready, or maybe we are just confronting the mind to be able to get to the readiness to shift to that natural state. Because I know some people are like, I'm with you on some of this, and I want it to be that way, but I have never seen that happen. I know that's just
and so let's go there. This is an amazing point, Tricia, because what you said is I've never seen that. So we need to go to the basic of the structure of the universe and that you can choose any beliefs, and those beliefs will reflect your reality. And we come here to have this earthly experience, and we get those beliefs to have that to experience the physical reality. Otherwise, we will be just floating as energy, as a non-physical beings. So there has to be any set of rules, any set of beliefs. And the beliefs are and need to be self-reinforcing.
Exactly. Because they're made of survival energy.
If they would not be self-reinforcing, our reality would shift instantly, and we would not actually be able to function properly because everything would shift instantly. This is one big piece of puzzle I got when I had the experience of becoming consciousness. And it was like becoming in the split second of the thought and emotion that the thought triggered, I became that. So I really experienced how we function as a consciousness, that with a single thought, we become it. That's how we manifest right now. We would not be able to do that and live in this physical reality. So the mind creates this filter. There is a time lag. And also the beliefs are self-reinforcing. So when I have a certain belief, there are other beliefs, sub-beliefs, and they create web of beliefs which prove you, this is the truth. This is right. So you believe it. So this is where what I said before comes is it takes a lot of discipline and willpower
Mhm.
to shut yourself off from the reality, to shut yourself from the senses. Like, I see it, I touch it, it's truth. No, it's not. It's your
Mhm.
perception that it's truth, but it's not truth. The mind is making it truth. So to go back to your note, to your comment that people can kind of guess it, when it's okay to kind of like, yeah, okay, logically, conceptual is like, yeah, when I read about it, okay, it makes sense, but I don't believe it. It's okay. They may be ready in 10 years, right?
Mhm.
And some of them may be like, and these are my clients. When someone comes to me, it's like, after they hear me talk or read my blog or something, my message, they're like, Daniela, I know it's truth. I cannot explain it. I know what you're saying. It's just, yeah, it is. I just don't know how to get there.
Mhm.
And that's when I
That's
come and
perfect.
help to get them. So I'll be very honest, 10 years ago or 12 years ago, when I was in my high achiever, go corporate the world mode and life, if someone would tell me what I now share, I would be like, oh yeah, you're nuts.
Get out of here.
Right? But
Sure.
that's the beauty, that
Mhm.
once you experience it, no one can now take it, because I experienced
Mhm.
it. And because it's my daily life. I don't need to convince anyone of it. It's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want, I can help, but if don't worry.
Yeah.
Um, we have our own, each of us, we have our own journey, right?
Mhm. One thing that I say to myself and to my clients, when we're contemplating letting go of beliefs and moving into more of a being, is sort of, why not try it? You know how to go back to the belief. You know how to go back to all of that. That you got mastered. That is dialed in. So why not try it for a little bit? Just experiment, see if you can let go, and you can always go back to it. You know what I mean? Even if it's for an hour or one day, like, even the logical mind can't argue with that a little bit. Like, if you try this for a little while, you can always go back to the old way. That's a
We
little,
could.
it's a loophole I use sometimes to trick that, trick the
Yeah,
mind to shut up, to sit down, you know?
that's true. But in my experience, the once a client experiences it,
Oh yeah, when you
some things
experience it.
on their own,
Yeah.
then it's like, yeah, they just like, okay, I'm doing it more.
Yes.
So
Right.
because it's like out of body experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
When scientists may be like, well, I don't know if it's possible, I don't know if it's truth. They want to cut it, they want to find it. You cannot, you have to experience it. So for the,
Uh-huh.
like, is it true? Maybe they are making it up. But for the person who experienced the out of body experience, it's like, yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
truth because I experienced it. So this is the beauty, that once you do, you never go back.
Right. I would love to talk about, if you're open to sharing a bit about your OBEs, your astral projections, either any part of it, like the content of it, or did it spontaneously happen? Because I know some people actually teach techniques to do it. And I've never done a technique to do it. It just happens to me. And it
Yeah.
seems, and I don't know it's going to happen. And then when it happens, I'm like, that's exactly what I needed, you know, giving me the shift that I needed. So what are some of your experiences around astral
Yes.
projection?
It happened. It happened out of the blue. It happened
Mm-hmm.
involuntarily, and some of those were truly powerful. So, for example, the becoming consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
the becoming thought and emotion, that was really powerful because uh, I literally became that emotion, and it's something that is beyond. I cannot even describe it, how massive the emotion is.
Mm-hmm.
One another example or was, I experienced the collapsing of the mind.
Mm.
So it's a collapsing of the mind into a black hole. There is a black hole, and which I didn't know at that time. There is a black hole at the center of everything that is conscious. So there is a black hole. There are literally infinite number of black holes in our universe. And into different occasions, I experienced the collapsing of the mind. It was early in the morning. I wasn't even meditating.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of woke up at 4 o'clock, and I was trying to go back to sleep. And the life or universe is like, yeah, no, we are not sleeping today. And the mind just collapsed. It's to describe it, it's like the mind was wrapping itself up into my center, like this, and everything ceased to exist, and there was just black wholeness. And that was profound, because it may be something that we experience when we die, that the mind ceases to exist and the body stops functioning, and we stop really perceiving this reality as physical beings. And then later on, I didn't know what it was. It took me probably 1 week to shake it off, and it changed things, how I perceive things. And later on, I got back to Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now,
Right.
And I started reading it again after like 10 years. And on the first or second page, literally during introduction, he described something similar. And I was like, yeah, this is
I was
it.
thinking about him earlier, like he said, wait, am I one person or two? And then it just started to like
collapsing.
unravel.
Yes. So the interesting thing is that I went through all the experiences, even the out of body, when I was just out. I was just looking at myself and like, oh, I can go out of the window now. I do get the experiences when I work with people. When I work with clients, they don't. It's like I needed to get the experiences to understand things and to teach people. But my clients like get the shift and they move on. They shift their consciousness, but they don't go through. It was tough. It's tough to go through that, like you have to shake it off, and you're like, okay, am I now crazy or what's happening? So it I don't know why I got through it. Well, I know why now, so I can teach others who they are. But it really started with me wanting to remember. I want to remember who I am. I want to remember who I am. This is not who I really am. And probably that kind of universe was like, yeah, okay, let's sprinkle this here. Let's sprinkle this here. And I was literally thrown into those experiences.
Wow. You've mentioned a couple of times that it requires discipline and focus. And I imagine the mind, it's another thing the mind starts to hijack. Says that's what I've been doing.
Yes.
I've been doing discipline and focus. I love the word discipline, and I love to reclaim it from the mind and from how it has maybe been modeled, connotations around it. And remember that the base word of discipline is disciple. And so to what are you a disciple? Are you a disciple of your true being? Or are you a disciple to some corporate job or some achievement? So there's in another way, I can kind of see that this achievement and all of that doing is like a shadow attempt to do the discipline and focus. You know what I mean? That brings you to your true self. Does that make sense? It's almost like in an unconscious way, you were trying to get to that place to be a disciple to your true being, but it was a false pursuit. So how do you just say more about discipline and focus? And honestly, the discipline and focus is part of the joy, right? It's part of yes.
And you were right that the mind kind of wraps it up for us. And it's like, and we use the discipline and focus because I think it's our natural way of we want to evolve, we want to be better. But we kind of get it wrong because we think we need to get better by working more, deserving more, struggling more, and then we will get the result, and then we'll be a better human being. But we pay a lot of price: health, sanity, relationships, exhaustions, everything, free time, right? And so the mind hijacks that
Yeah.
When I talk about the discipline and focus, it's a completely different one. It's not discipline and focus how we see out there, the motivational magazines or articles, and you just go, go, go. It's what you said. It's about discipline of not going to the mind.
Yeah.
So it's discipline of your true being, discipline of you, not discipline of the mind. It's willpower of not believe the mind.
Yeah.
It's really, to give you kind of like an analogy, it's like when people are trying to break any addiction, right? It's like the mind. Addiction is also always exists only on a level of mind. So does anxiety, stress, depression, chronic illness. Once we go beyond the mind, it doesn't exist. And that's why we can shift into the normal, healthy state, sometimes instantly. But it's like that. It's like, who I will be focused on daily, or who I will be disciplined with. The mind, the addict, because the mind is addict. It's addicted to information. It's addicted to the beliefs. It is addicted to reality. It's addicted to see the reality and to believe the reality, or me and my truth. And
Black and
that's,
white. It wants to be.
yeah.
It wants to categorize black and white, sort things out. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And one thing, so really it's staying constantly pulling back, pulling back, pulling back. This is me, this is me, this is me, and allowing the shift to happen naturally. Yeah.
And so, with your clients, as they're able to shift into that permanent state, and then does the outside reality also shift in positive ways? I mean,
Oh yeah, it
it's
has to.
yeah, it has to.
It has to, right? Like, think about it. When we are natural state is very high, our natural state is very high vibrational state.
Yeah.
So, and again, as a structure of universe, based on the structure of universe, we cannot physically perceive. We cannot perceive physical reality that doesn't reflect our vibration.
Right.
So when we are in a mind, we perceive the lower vibrations, the negativeness, the conflicts, drama, stress, health issues, lack of money, working hard, money coming in, but then losing money. Always trying to figure out things. It's a survival thing.
Yeah.
When we shift into the higher consciousness, to the high vibratory state, everything shifts. Our reality shifts. This is the mind-blowing thing, that we don't really need to work to be prosperous, to be free. We have freedom. We choose. We are so powerful that we can choose not to have freedom. We are so
Right.
powerful that we can choose to experience a life of struggle and working hard and working on ourselves. And that's all the conditioning. Or we can choose, like, yeah, no, I don't want that. I want the freedom. I want to have it easy. I want to work with the best clients. But it's, again, the outer reality is just reflection of our consciousness. So the consciousness needs to shift, so the outer reality shifts. So, for example, when I work with executives or entrepreneurs whose calendars is completely full, and they're always working on certain projects, I don't look at their business. I'm not a business coach. But as they shift, they're like, well, I have a lot of free time now. And actually, I work 4 hours a day instead of 16 hours, and I get more done. This is where things like collapsing time comes. We are able, in the natural state, we are able to collapse time. What in the mind state, what we would need to do for, I don't know, 2 weeks, we can do in 1 hour. Because you do precise action. You do one action only. It's not even like action. It's not action that comes from a thought. You are beyond thought.
Mm-hmm.
You are being. You don't have to-do list. You don't have like, okay, I need to do this, and then you take action. That's mind stuff.
Yeah.
You are being. You are just being. You are just living. And there you take action, and then you do something else, but it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
And
Exactly.
you meet the right people. Right people come to your way, the right clients, because again, it's a high vibratory state. Your reality has to reflect that state, and it always does.
Right. I call that, what you're referring to as collapsing time. I refer to it as being in the state of synchrony, or operating in the plane of synchrony. Just everything, the universe is synchronized. Everything is just like in nature. The wind
Yes,
knows exactly how to blow and how to take nutrients to what part of the garden. It knows what to do. But that
yes,
actually takes me, even when you're in this higher state and you're higher consciousness, and you are being disciplined to disregard the mind, life still happens. So, parents will pass away, and you'll experience that as a human being. You know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing I think the mind kicks up, is like, oh, then you never you stop being a human altogether. No, you get to be a human, though. You're being a human, right? There's still cycles and seasons.
there is, because life happens.
Life happens. Yeah.
But first of all, there is a lot less negativity.
Yeah.
I would even take it one step further. There is no negativity,
Mm-hmm.
because in the higher state of consciousness, a death of someone is not negative.
It's a graduation. It's
And I know the mind is like, well,
yeah.
that's cruel. That's um, your perception of life
Right.
and how things work, of the synchronicities, and how everything is connected shifts. You don't see a death like a death. You
Right.
don't see things um, as the illusion. I would
Mm-hmm.
refer to it, because what we see from the mind is the illusion. You see the real truth. So there is not there. Actually, there is not negativity. Even if you point out some things, there is not. In the earlier stages, what happens is that a negative event may happen, which you can perceive as a negative, and then literally within a few hours or a few days, you're like, okay, I know why it happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is earlier. But then when you shift higher, it's that perception completely shifts.
Right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
get it.
So life happens, but it's not a normal earthly life.
Right.
I would kind of like say that.
Yeah.
You have a different way of being and living. It's joyful. It's
Mm-hmm.
fulfilled. It's this fulfillment. And you're constantly feeling joy, and it's the inner joy. There is nothing that needs to bring you joy, or there is no one and nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The mind needs joy, love, entertainment, pleasure, peace from something.
Mm-hmm.
I have a partner who loves me, I'm feeling love. I have something happens in my business, I feel a joy. There is right?
Mm-hmm.
Mind is externalized, so it looks for the outside conditions. The joy is constant from the inner
Right.
being in the high vibrator. So it's like no matter what happens, you are feeling joy.
The mind also, in addition to those conditions, the mind says, uh, I need joy from this, or something like that. The mind also says, well, I can't even experience joy unless I know what suffering is too. Like, it believes in black and white again. And that's just the inner joy, as you're saying, because the mind will say, wait, if you're experiencing joy all the time, how do you know you're experiencing joy? Because you don't know what, you know what I mean? Like, that's another trap of the mind, is that it believes in opposites, and that opposites and duality, really, the duality is necessary in order to live, in order to exist. But the inner state of joy is, again, natural.
So, and this is what, yes, and this is
Mm-hmm.
something what we go through on this lifetime, because as a consciousness, we are singularity. And you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned duality. So consciousness creates the mind, like
Mm-hmm.
the mind is externalized and the body is externalized to give us, to give ourselves as a consciousness physical experience. And the duality is what you said, black, white, good, bad. I like it, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And we go through this experience, and but we forgot that it's for us to choose. We think that that's life. In the higher state, it's really you are going back to the consciousness itself and becoming that consciousness. The duality ceases to exist. You have the mind, you have mind, but you don't have the noise of the mind. You don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Even the perception of the duality ceases to exist.
Right.
You perceive things from the point of consciousness, which is singularity. So there is no good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. And this is, for example, it's excitement. You are excited, but you're not excited. You're
Mm-hmm.
like this constant joy and peace. And it's not joy like you're jumping up and down because you won a lottery.
Yeah.
It's joy for life. It's like life force joy and
Exactly.
nothing, and it's constant. So because that the mind creates like ups and downs. If you experience joy because something is amazing, you got a new client or you got a new project, a lot of money, then you also experience the downs. This is a constant, like constantly you're in this place of content. Like
Yeah.
it's, oh, it's so good. Everything is perfect. And you look at life like everything is perfect.
Yeah.
And the perfection is reflected in your reality. People
Mm-hmm.
shift. People shift tremendously. Your friends, your clients, everything evolves with you.
I know, isn't that is one of the most amazing things, because I've done that. I see that's, well, how many times, and I love the surprise of it. I love being yeah, I mean, I don't, do you know human design? I'm a reflector. And so
Yes.
my signature is surprise because I'm a reflector. But yeah, and the thing is, the interesting thing about that is that my mind thinks surprise is something like, a clown, like, like, but really it's just about appreciation in every moment and letting every moment unfold for you without having to control it
Yes.
or needing it to be a certain way. You know what I mean? It's more of an unconditional thing that can be sustained. You think surprise can't be sustained, but it's like that joy, and that's my signature. And I think that what is so amazing is when I have been in a contentious situation where this person is doing this thing to me in the relationship. This is happening to me. You know what I mean? But then I get down to that pure consciousness and they're just like totally a different person. I don't even have to do anything to make things better. They come to me with the peace and the solution and the clarity. And I mean, this to me is kind of where my mind goes to, really my mind my awareness goes to the idea of quantum leaping, where it's like I just shifted to a new plane of reality, a new energetic plane of reality, where I've raised my vibration to this, therefore the other beings on this parallel reality plane that I now exist are also, relative to that. And I think that's really
Yes.
fun.
Yes. And it needs to happen. There is no other way. It needs to happen because from the structure of the universe, everything exists.
Hmm.
There is
Yeah.
nothing we need to create. And this is a
Right.
trap. A lot of people, when they are working on their business and they are creating something, it's like, no, it's done. You just need to shift
Hmm.
because you don't need to create or figure out things. Any solution, you don't use mind to figure out solutions. You shift and it will come because the
Yeah.
solution exists. So when and we can only perceive in a physical reality. So for example, a person that reflects that vibration we are in. So when we shift, that person in the low vibration still exists people think like, well, that person changed. The mind perceives it as the person changed, but that person in the low vibration still exists. But us shifting into a new vibration, we perceive a new person who was there but was not perceivable by us because our vibrations were not matching.
Yeah.
And this is how everything exists. So this is a great point when you said that, when you point out there like, well, they don't change, or my clients, I'm not getting the right clients. I'm like, well, you are getting the right clients matching your vibrations. So the clients will shift when you shift. That's number one thing. When I work with someone, I'm like, and this is the willpower and focus. It's like, you cannot change illusion. There is nothing out there. My favorite line: there is nothing and no one out there. So if you want to change a person, being it your spouse, your children, your teenagers, your clients, your parents, well, good luck with that. You don't. This is why drama exists. This is like divorces exist. This is why fights, wars exist. We could, as a humanity, live in a complete peace without drama, without conflict. And also, another thing is that, because this is higher level, but because everything is a holographic projection of our mind, and each of us create their own holographic projection, and we vibrate, so we match our vibration, and no one can change our hologram, just us. This is where we match with the people in the vibration we are. But also, this goes back to what I said, that we are self-sufficient energetic beings. We don't need to work, because what we have, the gifts we have, the person on the other side wants to receive.
Yes.
The fact that there is a money is completely irrelevant. It's a human concept. But if we would evolve as a mankind, as a humanity, we could drop the money. Nowadays, the money is actually a reflection of our vibration and our belief system, right? But we could completely drop that, and we would be still self-sufficient, and we would get what we want and need every time, each of us. But this requires complete shift of humanity in terms of shift of consciousness. Maybe in 200, 300, 400 years we'll be there. But for now, we can do the same and play the same game, just on the individual level. So forget that the humanity doesn't shift, or that it's shifting slowly. You can still experience it in your own life.
Yes. Wow, this has been amazing. I just want to ask you one thing more, which is, for those who, well, no, two things more. The first thing I want to ask you is, for those who are not working with you right now, like, do you have any tips or any guidance that they can start to raise their vibration or make the shift into the pure consciousness, be able to be disciplined to disconnect from the mind? Anything that you can give, any words or any suggestions? Anyone who's
It's
listening.
really to so without certain exercises, but one way people can start with, it's really to being aware of their conditioning. I think you cannot change something you are not aware of. So literally, going back to our natural state is joy. Be aware of your thoughts, and be aware of your wants. I want to do this. And you want to do something, but immediately there is this fear: I cannot do this. What will people say? I need to do other things. I should do it this way. That's your fear-based conditioning. That's lowering your vibration. And at the beginning stage, maybe just being aware of it. And if you're ready, you can play with it. Well, what will happen if I do that? Right?
Yeah.
And chances are, because the beliefs all self-perpetuating, is that if you go and if you believe that if you do what you want to do, you will get a negative feedback. But that negative feedback is only to prove you your current reality. So that's where the discipline and willpower comes in. Is like, I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So this is kind of like the other way around. What I do is I shift people and they are doing it naturally without working with me. You can play. You can play. It's like, with it, what do I want? Because the fact is that, or the truth is that, you didn't come here to prove yourself. You didn't come here to work. You didn't even come here to teach others. You came here to have fun and to play any way you want. And only you can choose how to play that game. So if you choose playing that game through work and struggle, you will, because it's just a game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But we change people through our vibration. So a coach who is low vibration, no matter how hard we work, we cannot shift people. You gotta be the light. Sometimes people say, you gotta be the light, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is light? It's joy. It's doing fun. It's having fun. It's doing what you want, not what others are telling you how you should do things. And watch yourself, watch your mind, and watch your body. That's the conditioning.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the start.
That's wonderful. So how can people work with you, or what are the ways that people can connect with you and work with you at this time? Are you working only with certain kinds of coaches or something along those lines, or
No, I'm
what's your...
open to anyone who is ready.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
to work with me, people need to be ready.
Yeah.
And the best way is to go on my website. So danielasulek.com. And from the website, they can connect with me. We can have a chat and we'll take it the next step.
Awesome. That's wonderful. This has been so amazing. And I know that everybody who's listening feels that their vibration has been raised by just being in this,
Yeah.
because it's true. You know what I mean? It's natural and it's truth. So that's why we feel that resonance with it. So I really appreciate you coming on the show, and thank you so much for shining your light and being the light in this world.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for doing this and, spreading your message. And together we are spreading, I think, the same message. It's just in a different words.
Sure.
And yeah, I hope that everyone who wanted to or needed to get something from this got it.
Yeah, I'm sure they did, and also seeds plant, and so sometimes it shows up later, which is really cool.
Yes, that's true.
Well, thank you, Daniela. Really awesome. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
on. I definitely felt as though my vibration was really raised. All of the vision and just the space of all that is natural and all that is correct and all that is possible. Feels really good to be around her energy, Daniela's energy, because it feels like the reality. Even though the mind kicks up dust and fights against it sometimes, the feeling space where it feels right, it feels good, it feels, I guess it can be blissful or it can be joyful. Sometimes those words do have that connotation that it's supposed to be highly activated. So somehow it gives way to peace and ease. All of that. I really feel that is our natural state of being. And I come by it honestly. I have, I don't know how long you've been listening. Thank you for however long you've been listening. But I am one who had early childhood and early adulthood that was rampant with trauma. And these were things that I obviously didn't make a choice of in this life. I really believe that I set it up pre-birth, though, so because there's such a great learning opportunity. And so, I've moved through trauma, and the path is a spiral. So, there's a constant kind of release of those energies, but it's easier and easier. And ease is one way to look at it, but another way to look at it is that the fear diminishes even as you continue to work through these different experiences of life so that you can be more in the natural state that we talked about. So I just want you to know that I I come by it with experience of this life, of having moved through some things, and I really do. I have witnessed. So my logical mind even is like on board with it to, at least to an extent, because it's like, well, yeah, it's true. I guess it is true. And the logical mind starts to ease up because there's so much evidence, which is what it wants. It's great. Not that we couldn't go back to it being a challenge or a struggle or fight against things. We always could do that. And I'm sure I experiment with that sometimes. But really, that state of ease, that state of flow and joy is the way that I am, able to be in my natural state and have nature or the field cooperate with me, because that's me being in the cooperative state. Thank you so much for checking that out. I want to invite you to go ahead and subscribe here on the podcast if you haven't done that yet, or follow it, however your application presents it to you. Also want to point you to my Instagram, which is at Tricia Carr Charm, and also to direct you to the show notes here, because all of Daniela's information is there. So find her, work with her if you feel led, work with me if you feel led, but do continue to be the more natural you, because that's who we need. That's who we are here all to experience. And so with that, I want to tell you that I really do appreciate you for listening to this podcast and being a part of this energy sphere. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.